Okay, we're live on air here on a very, very hot day for this review of Dance, the 1991 album by Gary Numan. Got to get the album out, show it to you. It's too late now. All right, no air conditioning. It broke last night. Now, the man said he could fix it for $250, but they had to order a part from, I don't know, across the country. And he wasn't going to be able to do that till Monday. It's a 1991 air conditioner. I believe it's still running. And he said, I could replace it for $5,000. The whole thing, heater, the furnace, AC, inside out. So go ahead, man. So he's going to try to come Thursday. If we don't have a tropical storm or a hurricane hitting. I was talking on the phone to David, my part-time beer reviewing partner. He was like, "You're not taking this seriously. I can't believe you. Are you drunk? Are you loaded? This thing's going to blow up when it hits Louisiana, all this heat." I said, "You're not taking it?" I had to mute that part. I said, "No. I can't do anything about it. I can watch the radar. Half the time, they don't even hit us. It may not even be any rain. It's going to be probably. But so, what you drinking?" Says Dan Page. JTLBZ says, "Cheers from Ohio." Cole Carey says, "Drinking a New Belgium Citradelic Tangerine IPA here." Oh, yeah. They did a good job with that series. All right. So I said, oh, there's no baseball on tonight. You say, oh, no, they got the All-Star game. Yeah. Yeah. I don't watch those exhibitions. Okay. I can't watch it. I never watched the last time I watched the Pro Bowl was 1980. True story. I was watching a Pro Bowl and I said, I can't watch this. It was in 1980. This is too boring. I don't even care who wins. Who cares who wins this pretend thing? So I turned it off. I was 12. And literally, I never watched the Pro Bowl after that. I just couldn't stand it. And I'm not watching NBA or Major League Baseball. All-Star. Now, if they had a regular baseball game on, yeah, I'd be laying there watching it instead of doing this. I'd be hot. No air conditioning, it's 90-something degrees. But I'd just soon be hot here doing this. You say, you're used to it. You're from Louisiana. I am more used to it, I suppose. But I don't really like it. Now, the heater, I can live without the furnace, the heater, because it hardly gets cold in the winter. So last year the thing that was broken. I wasn't even paying somebody to come fix that. I was like, it got down to 31 degrees one night last winter. One night, 31 degrees for what, 2 hours? So it got down 1 degree below freezing for 2 hours last year. Well, needless to say, I did pretty well without central air condition, central heat. It's like, it's really not that cold. So, but on the other side, you do need air conditioning. I guess I could live without it. I would be miserable all the time, but you could survive. But I have fans, but it's hot. The humidity is what kills you. Craig Swinson said, "This album I've heard, and I believe it's cool if you're in the mood." Obviously, everyone knows his song Cars. Okay, let's get to this album. This album is controversial because Gary Numan had a lot of success with his the first album, the debut album, Tubeway Army featuring Gary Numan. Well, that was the name added later after he got popular. It was really just called Tubeway Army. That was kind of rough, amateurish in a way, because he didn't know really how to make albums or music. He just made it. So in 1978, he was only 20 years old, and sort of like a do-it-yourself album. He's all self-taught, self-taught guitar player. He could do, it's like some of these savants I've talked about in the past. They could just play every instrument by just doing it. Like Stevie Nicks said, well, I write the songs on guitar or on piano, but I don't like to play those on stage because I'm not good enough. Or the other ones I talked about, well, he was like that. And remember, he got into a lot of controversy with the media because they said, well, why did you become a singer? What made you so inspired? And he said, oh, I just did it to make money because I wanted to fly around the world in a plane and I couldn't afford it. And I figured it was an easy way to make a lot of money so I could do this dream I had to fly around the world. Oh, they didn't like that. You know, he was supposed to say, you know, to help mankind and change the world and all that. He just was honest, and so the media didn't like him, you know. So they were out to get him. Cheers to good music, Ron. 80s were a good decade. Thank you, Ronnie. Soil and Green said, I just drank a Zima. Ask me anything about alcohol. Oh no, I don't want to talk about Zima. Oh, I didn't like it the first time. I never tried it when it redid it or brought it back to America because they never did stop making it in Japan. Well, anyway, so his second album, Replicas, was really well developed and still a little rough, but then people say, oh, this guy's got talent, you know, he's the next thing. And then trouble started, you know, because they said he's the next David Bowie. And then David Bowie was saying kind of like, well, that guy copied off of me. He's just like a copycat. And Gary Numan was saying, I didn't copy him. I mean, I was influenced by him. I didn't copy him, you know. And then the third album, The Pleasure Principle, those were both 1979. Oh, wait, let's see. Yeah. The Pleasure Principle, that was what the song Cars came from. So that was a big success. And so then he did Telecon, which was like the third of what they call the Android series, where he was sort of like an android, you know. And he said, well, I was just trying to look weird, you know, because that was the thing back then. You try to look strange. And he said, well, I'll just be like an android, you know, with no personality, like a machine, a man machine. But then by 1981, he figured, well, that's played out. It's kind of like David Bowie in that sense, because, you know, David Bowie would say, well, that's played out. Let me get away from that before that gets too old. So that was smart. So he said, let me try something different, because he had a lot of different interests in music. So he said, let me try a more jazz-oriented album, a more, even more what you would call dark wave. He was never, you know, they say Gary Newman's new wave. He was really kind of like what we would call dark wave. He didn't really fit into the new wave genre so well. And I think he's kind of started what they call dark wave. It's a much different sound if you think about it. I was listening to the Sex Pistols in 1981, says Cole Carey. Yeah, but they weren't in operation then. Punk was just suburban kids being edgy, says Soylent Green. Yeah, the whole punk scene was manufactured by record companies. We know that. 1978 to 83 was an interesting era in music, says CS. Yes. I agree with that. Soylent Green says, I was into DK and Minor Threat, but it was spoiled soccer kids. Okay. All right. So hold on just a moment. I'll get the album cover and I'll show you. It's kind of interesting. Then we'll do the album review. Hold on a moment. Be right back. I mean, it won't take long at all. Oh, the heat. All right, so I bought this album so cheap. Here it is. I remember when it came out, Beggar's Banquet. It's part of Atco, which is part of Warner Brothers. You know, they own DC Comics since 1976 and all that. All right, so Gary Numan, he's wearing this. He wanted to make himself look like Jimmy Cagney or something. He said, I want to go for this 1930s gangster look. A lot of people were looking at that saying, what the deal? You know, what is going on with this? You know, this guy here. So people were put off by that. Interesting on the great Cedric Sharpley on drums. Gary Numan on every instrument you could think of. What's the guy's name? Taylor from Duran Duran on drums? True story. Before Duran Duran was, yeah, Roger Taylor. Before everybody knew who Duran Duran was. So, I bought it. Now, when it came out, I remember watching Night Flight. You know, remember Night Flight on USA Network when that was a decent network to watch. So I was watching Night Flight that night. I would stay up late. Well, I had to watch that, you know. So I said, it said, tonight, Gary Numan's new song, She's Got Claws. I said, oh, God, I got to watch this. So it came on, and I was like, I don't know what to make of this. I was kind of shocked. You know, it's so different than what he did before. But I'm thinking, you know, I said, well, this might be all right. And then I bought the album, and I said, oh, this is so different. I don't know what to think. Telecon we loved. Like, we loved Telecon. We were just, like, obsessed with that. And we were somewhat obsessed with the Pleasure Principle, and he was wearing a suit on that cover, wasn't he? And then Replicas. So, but Telecon, we just loved that. So dance was so different. It really hurt his career. The main thing that hurt his career, though, was really the people in the British media that didn't like him. And BBC would not play his songs. Why is that? Because we don't like you. Now, that's a true story. And that's how that went down. It just got to 1981. We're not playing your songs. Because you like Margaret Thatcher. You say, well, Margaret Thatcher was the prime minister. The BBC is the British government, right? You ever heard of the deep state? You know, doesn't matter what the president or the prime minister or whatever. We doing what we want because we don't like you. All right. And so then he kept making great albums. I Assassin, I had that. I thought it was in the same vein as this. Warriors. I like it. It's even more dark wave industrial. Then it starts becoming industrial music. Well, it does start. You'll see in a moment. It does start becoming industrial music, even here in 1981 with this album. But by Warriors, that's it. And Berserker, of course, and The Fury. It's industrial music and pop, of course, which no radio station would play. So then he wasn't making any money. So, but kept making what he wanted to make. 1986 album, 88. Things started falling apart in the 90s. But a lot of people, you know, 9 Inch Nails and all that, they were inspired by Gary Numan. Like, oh, he's the king, you know, he made us what we are. And then it's sad, though, in a way, because in 1994, he just ran out of ideas and he just said, well, I'll just copy the people that copied me. I'll copy the people that copied me. Like David Bowie. He always did his own thing. And then after the 1987 album and tour, he got so intimidated by the media, who always had some axe to grind with him. And they went after him so terribly. After 1987, David Bowie was just a follower. And I said, now he's just a follower. He's no longer a leader. And I said, I'm not buying Tin Machine. And I made the mistake. I bought Earthling. It's better than I initially said, because I always savaged that album for 20 years. I just talked terrible about it. But I can see it has some redeeming qualities, but still, it's not the same. He's not the same. He was never the same. David Bowie was never the same after 87, ever. It really hurt me, you know. Okay, now, does me listening to Boy George right now make me, right? I would say that you, all right, guys, let's cool it. We're trying to project positive energy. You know what this channel's about? Positive energy projection, not negative. There's enough negative on the internet. Hatefulness. Even in the beer review community, you got hateful people. We know that. All right, let's look at this album. You're going to see, I don't know why Jerry decided to cut the grass today. His grass wasn't even that high. but he loves cutting it. And he has to pay $8,000 to get his truck fixed. So I had to pay $5,000 for the new roof. Now I got to pay $5,000 for the air conditioner. 2019 has been an expensive year. So you know I canceled that Florida trip. You know that happened. Okay, here we go. This first song is called A Slow Car to China, or not a Slow Car to China. It's 9 minutes long. You say, I'm not listening to that. I'm not playing the whole song. You'll see what I'm saying about this. Get this now. Check this out. To me, this is, well, I don't know if it's his greatest album, but I love this album. I love this album. Do you hear what I'm saying? Every time I play it, I say to myself, I love this album. Okay. Okay, here's the thing. If you're in a rush, and a lot of people, they're in a rush. I'm in a rush. I got to do this. I got to do that. Got no patience. This is not an album you could ever stand to listen to if you're in a rush, okay? You cannot handle it. It is so slow-paced. Okay? You cannot be in a rush. This is a very slow build. Got to remember that. So it starts up very, very paced. To some people, it drives them crazy. They want to pull their hair out. I understand that. Now the comments. What do you think of the first Van Halen album, says Cole Carey? Oh, I mean, it's one of the best albums ever made. I should review it. I mean, it's like, you can't believe it's, oh, whoa, what a great album. Ken Thomas Waterloo says, speaking of industrial and edgy music, can we get a Starland Volvo Band review? I never even heard of them. Oh, sorry, Ron, I'm just trying to be funny, says JBM. JBM listens while drinking wine coolers and watching his stories. So it's like, see, y'all got to cool it. We must love one another. And I'm never going to stop saying that. I'm going to keep saying we have to be, you say, I'm into hate and anger. Well, if you're into hate and anger, you know this is not the right channel. This channel is into love, positive energy projection. All right. So let's listen to a little more of this Slow Car to China. That's why it is A Slow Car to China. So I'll go a little further into the song when it gets more developed, and you can see it building up a little bit, but it's really not a proper way. You got to buy the album. You got to listen to the album. You hear what I'm saying? You got to buy the album. You got to listen to the album. I suppose the things they are. So you can see, or you can hear how it's very layered. Like the music on this album is very complex and layered. It's layered. It's not thin. It's dense. It's deep. And then it just keeps going. Beyond the story I own you can go to. Yeah, Mr. Jones. There's nothing much to keep us alive. All that you can say is goodbye. All the things
suppose you'll sing a loud boss loud.
So you see how that it goes in a 9-minute build up to fabulousness. All right, but you have to listen to the whole song. Now the next song is called Night Talk, a little faster paced song, but the album starts with that slow build up. Now here's Night Talk. Which is a little faster paced song.
See you waiting here. It's just supplying you. Something to say. Stay in bed. Why is my time? Don't open your eyes, but don't you begin. Always in a side street, there's no place for you.
Well, you see, Gary Numan, you have to have a lyric sheet because his voice, the way he sings, he'll drag out words, and it's like a Bowie and Joy Division hybrid, says Soylent Green. Okay, like you can't understand sometimes what he's saying, but you have the lyric sheet, and then you can read like Slow Car to China. She'll take a slow car to China, a little green worm inside my head. She'll take a slow car to China, a little green worm inside my head. Just pretend it's for real. You will pay like before. Just pretend it was me. You will pay, Mr. Jones. Sometimes you don't know what he's talking about. He gets these ideas in his head. Night Talk. Boys watch from windows tonight. I'm not surprised to see you waiting here. You keep them in business just supplying you. Get in the car. I've got something to say. Stay in bed. Why waste my time? Open your eyes, but only if you can. Only if you can. Office in a side street is no place for you. Night Talk and romance like beat the clock. Meaning, so my boys like me aren't supposed to cry, but it's so easy to do. That's the chorus part. I'll play that a little bit. Very evocative of the early 80s, says Cole. Even Ron, are you going to be reviewing songs from the 80s? If I had time machine, I would go back to the 80s. And do you like Cars from Gary Numan's? Yes, I sure do. Okay, so here's more of Night Talk.
Night Talk. Night Talk. You can pray. Yes, I don't understand. Boys like me are supposed to cry, but just look at you. Night Talk. Night Talk.
I don't like this song because of the drum machine. I like the song. I don't like, he should have, I don't like the drum machine. It's got a good song structure, but the drum machine ain't working for me. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, if I feel a certain way about an album, I'm gonna tell you right off the bat. I'm not gonna cover it up. Okay, even if I love the star, he came to New Orleans in 1982. I didn't get to go to that concert. Of course, my parents wasn't gonna take me anyway. I was only 14, but I mean, that would have been the guy I wanted to see. You know, that was our favorite guy, our little clique in high school. That nobody else liked Gary Numan. You know, people that like Gary Numan got beat up. There was a lot of controversy with music in 1981, 82, 83, 84 in high school, and we got into a lot of bad, angry arguments. And we just told people, "You're wrong. You're stupid. Your music is terrible." And all these guys who were like on the football team and stuff, we were trying to talk to them about Devo in 1978, and then they were telling us in 1982, "Hey man, we started listening to Devo. We listening to Devo. What was that album from 1982? It looked like Mr. Potato Head." They were talking about that in the cafeteria at school. I was about to put a gun to my head. I said, "This is not the Devo that you should be listening to. This is after they've already collapsed. Why are you bringing this up to my attention?" You know, I was trying to tell them that. Why are you bringing this to my attention? This is not the good Devo. This is the Devo that is terrible. I'm not even buying that horrible album. But you can only tell people. You can't make them believe it, you know. And I was trying to tell you, y'all missed the boat because where were you? But okay, now the next song is called "A Subway Called You." Not me, a subway called you. This is actually probably one of his greatest songs, but really the next song is his greatest song. But this is a great song, really. I swear this is a great song. I'm not gonna play the whole song, but you'll get the picture. You'll get the picture where he's going with this album. Actually, the album, if you read the lyrics, the album is about call girls and prostitution. I don't know what his interest was in that. I know he liked girls. We like girls, you know. Duran Duran like girls. Motley Crue like girls, girls, girls. But A Subway Called You, you know. Here we are. How old are you? It's just a job to me. Oh, and like he's saying, here we are. We drift like gas on someone else's bed. I pay high, you know. No more I. This conversation drains my patience dry, you know, blah, blah, blah. All right, so that's A Subway Called You. We'll go a little bit more until we get to the great song. Now
It's just a young made.
Real drums. You notice Cedric's Sharpie drums. Why did he have that drum machine on that last song? I do not know. So you can see how this album is developing along, right? And 80s music are better music than today's music by far, says Sarah. Diva was inspired by Kraftwerk. I think they were inspired by some other stuff. Has Human League vibe, says Cole Carey. Okay, Human League. All right, so then we got to go to the great Gary Numan song, "Cry the Clock Said."
Curious knows green peas taste.
Now this song takes a lot of patience. It takes 10 minutes, but the lyrics are interesting. Why cry now? It's over. Feelings change. How are you? How am I? Cry, the clock said. But anyway, he says, I know a little of romance and these little track houses. I knew even less of you. And if you should ever think of me, maybe as a game you lost, well, someone I know lost the whole damn world. No more of this talk of they're out to get me. Just slide out of Sydney and I could never go back. Blah, blah, blah. All right. So he did fly around the world, so he knows about foreign countries. All right. So here's some of Cry the Clock Said. It's very technologically computerized. Okay. So be ready for that. So you hear he's setting the mood. It's slowly coming into play. He got you interested with the first three songs. Now it's getting real serious, okay? Has Human League about, oh, time for a Heineken. Good idea, says Tyler Mansell. Time for a Heineken. Come to think of it, I'll have a Heineken. Sarah Britton says, oh, Duran Duran, another good classic, good music. What do you think of the Depeche Mode, Ron? Oh, I'm not opposed to them. Okay, now, so here's the buildup. This is the great Gary Numan song. Believe me. Believe what I'm telling you. You could trust me. hear this? Ronald Sutton says, cool, man. You hear this? You hear what I'm playing for you tonight? This is what I'm trying to tell you. You must go buy this album. Do you hear what I'm trying to tell you? So when I heard this album, I said, that's it. They'll never accept it. He's had it. They'll never accept it. I told my friend Thomas, I said, look, we sitting at his house listening to this, and we just like totally blown away. We listened to it, like we just kept playing the album again. We just played it for hours. We just kept playing the album. I said, they'll never accept it. That's it. It's all over now. I said, but I don't care. This is the great Gary Numan, and I'm buying the albums. And we always said that who was the one we admired the most, it was Gary, you know. So, and a lot of people just were totally missing the boat on that. And I was like, you can miss the boat, but we on it. Okay, I'll bring you to the middle of the song where it gets more built. It just keeps building up, you know, so he's adding more layers to the song. You understand? So I mean, no one in junior high was going to listen to this because they were in a rush. You cannot be in a rush listening to this. People say, I can't. That's too slow. It's too slow. Too slow. What can you do? Okay, so he does all that. Oh, do you enjoy a good Canadian whiskey, says Ronald Sutton. Yes, as a matter of fact, the other day I just reviewed Windsor Canadian. He said, you might say, oh, I said good Canadian whiskey. Well, it was cheap. Well, it was pretty good. Windsor Canadian. It's been around since 1880, so that was all right. That was all right. I got a review coming. So he set the tone of the album with the first side, very slow, ethereal, smoky, layered, and developed. So that's, you say, oh, the whole album's going to be like this? No. So then side two, you know, record albums used to have two sides. So then you flip it to side two. Now side two is where he kicks in the more rock. He is a rock singer. So then we got She's Got Claws. more of the pop music. I mean, he's a pop singer. He ain't well, he might be a Freemason. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. All right. Anyway. Get ready. It's about to roll. So the first side gets you, you say, oh, what is this? What happened to Gary? He's going crazy. He's doing space music now. What is this? Music from the hearts of space? All right. But then side two, he lets you know, no, I'm still here. We still kicking it. We still playing it in the club. You know, we still rolling. So Cole Carey said, I'm a Doors fan. I understand people not getting it. All right. Boy, if you want to make people mad, just mention the Doors. They'll run across the room. You see them way on the other side. You're like at a dinner party or something. They're way on the other side of the room. Way over there. And you say, man, I was listening to the Doors. They come running across the room. I just want to let you know I hate the Doors. And you say, oh, I wasn't talking to you. That's how sick they are. They're that sick. It's like, why do you feel the need to come run across the room and tell me you hate the Doors? Because I don't like them. And I'm going to tell you why for 2 hours. It's like, I didn't want to hear it at all. I'm not interested in why you hate them, okay? You need to go back over there and try to impress those women you were talking to. It ain't really working, but go ahead and try to talk to them. All right. So anyway, She's Got Claws. You're going to love this song. This is a great song. They wouldn't play it on the radio, but it's a great song. All right.
You are distractions, like pictures on the wall. I don't like guys. You are attractions, it gets from favorite to you're up by now.
You know, you're an attraction. It gets to be routine. You're up. I'm down. You got to have the lyric sheet. So then he's gonna start dropping the beat with "She's got claws, she's got claws, she's got claws," and he's gonna really. This is a great song. Then this song transitions. You know, don't you love these songs that have those breaks and then it's like a different song inside the song? That's Gary Numan. But this is a great part. You know, it just you got to buy the album. You must go buy the album.
Okay.
Like how he brings that in, that big bass, deep bass, fretless bass, right there in that part of the song. At the end when he's like gearing up with that reverberating electronic music, that like growling synthesizer.
I'm not sure.
A little problem right here sometimes on these hangouts. All right. The next song is even better. It's called Crash. It's got a lot of energy. This is a song got a lot of action to it. You're gonna like the song Crash. Here's some of the lyrics. He says, don't things change? Don't we all? What's it like to crash? Driver. Nothing more to prove, just saying, you drink to rumors and talk about someone new in your bed. There's no game to win, so get out as fast as you can. And he's hung up on the time, and he's hung up on my age. Okay, and he was also hung up on his hairline. He was so paranoid about going bald that he kind of made himself look silly. But here's a song got a lot of action to it. You like action? Drinking a Terrapin Luau Crunkles now. Highly recommend it. Oh yeah, my friend David said yeah, that was a really good one. He liked Luau Crunkles. Here we go. Crash. Crash.
Like some down the boys in the right, you are. Nothing was impossible, it's just send down the machines. With no little love celebrations, how I live will help.
Hey, you know that song's gangster. You know that song's rolling. All right, Howie Esau. Who is Howie Esau? All right, so in the next song is called Boys Like Me. And then the lyrics are like, this is a weird song. And then the lady, it's like they set you up for a joke because at the end the lady's like, did I do okay? It's like some sex song, but it's like a joke, you know, like you fell for it. The lyrics are like this. Listen, Zara, boys like me, we get used to things like you. Boys like me, we don't understand lies like yours. Listen, Zara, boys like me from rags to riches bleed for you. I don't know who Zara is. I don't know who Zara is supposed to be. It's a woman making this crazy talking. Connie Filippello. Connie Filippello. Who in the world is Connie Filippello? I do not know. I do not know. But you're going to love this mysterious music that he brings in. Oh, the man was a genius. Is it? Well, was a genius at least.
Boys like me, we get used to things like you. Boys like me, we don't understand lives like yours.
Gotta admit, the man was a master genius of techno music. It's unbelievable. Sorry, meant to say. Cole Carey says Bowie. Sorry, meant to say his singing is Bowie-esque. Weiser's Deluxe, better than Crown Royal, cheaper too. I've heard of Weiser's, but not seen it. Sarah Brent said they need to bring back the good classic synthesizers. Yeah, those ones that growl. You know what I mean? They growl.
Like me, restoration.
What you have to understand is Gary Numan at 23 years old was developing all of this on his own. He would sit there and just develop all these songs just out of his head with no training, his own training. He trained himself. Now, this is another great song coming up, Stories. Another great song. What a great album. Oh, what a great album. Stories. Here we go. If it'll play. All right, if it'll come up. All right, Stories. This is a great different track. It takes a different tack, I should say. Goes a different direction. And some of the lyrics, she sits in a corner where it's reasonably quiet, drinking coffee with cream, thinking stories of young love. She calls to the waiter. Here's the quote. Won't you lend me some time? You can sit by my side and I'll let you be friends with mine. And the cafe is old, but the candlelight's new. She orders Beaujolais wine and says, I thought of you too. Blah, blah, blah. All right. I say he was a good musician. I didn't say he was a great lyricist. All right. Come on, let's go.
She sits in the corner where it's reasonably quiet, drinking coffee with cream, thinking stories of young love. She called to the waiter, won't you lend me some time? You can sit by my side now, you be friends of mine. The cafe is out, but the candlelight new. She orders Beaujolais wine and says I thought of you too. You whispers, isn't it odd? You remind me of songs that I'd rather forget. Like Venus I long for, you hold me inside. Sometimes I recall, question mistakes, because there's nothing at all.
You heard that? Serious. All right. Now the next song, My Brother's Time. He did have a brother who unfortunately died of cancer when they were still recording and doing tours in '84. I think there was some heroin problems with the John Webb. Gary Webb is Gary Newman's real name, Gary Webb. My Brother's Time. It says the lyrics, some of the lyrics are sometimes they try to forget and sometimes they do. Giving love for the financial gain. She's so good with excuses and incorrect reasons. I'm tired of trying to win and you're tired of me. Here on the floor with these very loose young, I'm not reading these lyrics. All right. Anyway, here it is. Oh, that ain't it. Hold on. Another slow one.
Sometimes I try to forget, and sometimes I do. Give my life for the financial gain. She's so good with excuses.
So this song is kind of like pit pat. I call it that. Pit pat, pit pat. It's like two extremes, you know. The whole song, pit pat. Only problem with the '80s, a lot of the '80s music was pit pat. You know, the bass line and the drums. What do you call that? The rhythm section. A lot of that in the '80s, unfortunately, was pit pat. So I'll do a little bit of that, and then we're going to go to the next song, which is You Are, You Are. And we'll do a little bit more of My Brother's Time.
Says an incorrect reasons. I'm tired of trying to win and you're tired of me. She knows how you stand in the corner and whisper words to me.
Told you can't be in a rush when you listen to this album. Here's You Are, You Are. And some of the lyrics are like, you are hopefully mistaken, like old ties. You'll soon be broken down like all the rest who tried. You are something quite surprising. Stories odd concerning love. The scene will change for you, you know. And it's going on about whoever he's talking to. It's got a lot of action to it, this song, though.
Mistaken like a time to something broken and like all the red. Something quite surprising. Stories on the sun and love the secret change the
So this song's good because it helps pick up the pace of the album. The album's kind of slow and all by design. So he puts this in to kind of give it a little give it some speed. And then he's going to go into the great song Moral, which is a remake of Metal. Moral got him in a lot of trouble because he always did speak his mind. Now, Moral is he's saying these new romantics. See, this way he got in trouble. These new romantics are oh so boring. I could swear I've been there once or twice before. I should grow wings and just forget the club. You know, the legends never wanted to be me. Far too erratic to be okay. So if you're concerned, well, I don't care. You play games, you play safe. Me, I just side with relief. He signed with relief because he wasn't a new romantic. People didn't take that too well, that he was making an attack on the new romantics. So then there was even more hatred to Gary Numan, and I don't know why he did those kind of things, but he would just tell you what he thought about different singers and whatnot. You hear how slow that is? What are you talking about? Listen how slow this song is, but it's a great song. It's a great song. Now, so it's a great album. I recommend you buy it. And now the question is, what should I review next?
If you're concerned, well, I don't care. You're my guy, you're my side.
I think this song is etched in my head. I think about this song like once a week. But I've only been thinking about it once a week since 1981, so I don't believe it's too serious. That dragging riff, you know, I just can't get it out of my mind. I love to hear you review early Bon Jovi. I'm Bon Jovi. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Bon Scott AC/DC. Oh, no, I'm not qualified to do that. If I had to pick one song to listen to forever, it'd be 8 Miles High from the Byrds. Oh, yeah. As a bass player, it's sublime. Cole Carey says, review the first Van Halen album. Groundbreaking album for an entire generation. I might do that because I ain't going to be able to sleep in this heat anyway. So let's see what happens. All right. Thanks for watching this video production of this Gary Numan album. Thanks, everyone. Remember, go buy that album. Support Gary.